Hello. This past weekend, I got to attend two of the greatest community-led wargaming events I have ever been to. One was Bring Out Your Lead, a regular Old Hammer event that has lots of truly incredibly passionate gamers who are just absolutely dedicated to creating some of the greatest display and demo games of Classic Games Workshop that you have ever seen. Just genuinely incredible, incredible stuff. And the other event was led by Peachy. It is his annual event, PeachCon, and that has grown in scale from the first event last year to be something that is just an incredible community, amazing opportunity to get together, play some games, and see some awesome folks from across the entire wargaming, miniature gaming, and roleplay gaming community, essentially. I had terrific fun, and I'm going to share my after-action report with you guys just to reflect on some of the awesome stuff that I got to see and some of the cool people that I got to speak to. I'm Jordan, this is Jordan Sorcery, and today I'm talking about my recent adventures to Nottingham, where I got to attend some of the best community events there have ever been. So this was a really unusual weekend for me. Normally, I don't get to attend Bring Out Your Lead because it normally conflicts with my birthday. So there's a lot of family stuff going on and I'm not always able to travel down to Nottingham. But this time, it was a little bit later. So Bring Out Your Lead took place the same weekend as PeachCon, which I was already intending to go to. So I was able to do both and for the first time, actually go to see the Foundry, the company that Brian Ansell and Diane Ansell ran after leaving Games Workshop in the early 90s. Bring Out Your Lead, if you're not familiar with it, is an annual Old Hammer event. Essentially, it's an opportunity for super passionate folk who are just big fans and dedicated hobbyists who love the original, the early, the older Old Hammer, Warhammer and Games Workshop stuff, bringing all of that together into some of the greatest display boards you have ever seen. Truly, these are projects that take an entire year. Some of those folks who will just work on those and build out their tables, they'll build out their armies, they will really focus on themes, recreate classic games, bring together original games with all of the pieces and just make the perfect set, and just create the opportunity for folks to go along for free and to just drop in and play in some of these games. And then there are big display games where you have to book a slot and sort of be part of a more organized effort. But because it is this incredible community event, essentially you're invited to go and check it out and just see the amazing games that people are playing and spend time immersed in this classic Old Hammer world. I believe every year of the more than 10 years that it's been running, the event has been held at the Foundry, and it is just set in Newark, so it's just outside Nottingham, and it is set against this incredible, amazing countryside, essentially. And then you have what I believe was a big old manor house, and its carriage court, where all of the carriages and the horses would have been cared for, has been converted into this events space. So every year in the carriage court, there is a marquee which has got a bar and then has got a load of gaming tables, and around it there's a load more gaming tables. There's loads of space to just hang out and chat and to observe and look at all of these amazing games. And then there's also other rooms as well that have got their own dedicated spaces with their own dedicated games going on as well. For me, one of the major attractions of going was to actually visit the Foundry itself. I've never been before, so this has been a huge bucket list item for me. Not only just to go and see the Foundry, which has been an influential historicals miniature company and fantasy and sci-fi as well, but also because it is home to Brian Ansell's collection of miniatures. And I cannot overstate just how incredible this collection is. I'm sure you will have seen loads of photos online. It is just, the photos do not do justice to the enormity and the importance of that collection. There are countless Citadel miniatures here that have featured in so many early publications. I believe the story goes that when Brian Ansell left Games Workshop, he was able to take with him a large number of heavy metal miniatures, original display miniatures, loads of stuff that either he owned or he painted or the heavy metal team painted that were used for White Dwarf, for the early editions of Warhammer, and for Rogue Trader. All of that stuff, or a lot of that stuff, went with him when he left. And it's on display. The majority of it, or a good chunk of it, is on display at the Foundry. And I'm not kidding. I could have genuinely spent the entire day just looking in those cabinets. Just truly amazing. It's an era of Games Workshop miniatures, Citadel miniatures, that is just classic. Every miniature in there is amazing. The paint jobs are all amazing. Obviously, they are of a time, but they still stand up. They are still so impressive. And seeing them all arrayed like that, oh, wow. Genuinely awesome. Just truly magnificent. If you get the chance to go to the Foundry and to check it out, it's worth going just to spend a bit of time marveling at genuine Citadel and Games Workshop history. That's Warhammer history just everywhere that you look. Incredible. Just that made the trip worth it alone, but also there was so much more awesome stuff to see as well that it was a real treat for just so many reasons. In attendance at previous Bring Out Your Leads, there have been lots of alumni from Games Workshop, lots of important folk from Citadel history. This year, Kev Adams, Diane Ansell, Gary Morley, Tony Yates were all present. They were just chatting to folks and having great conversations. So that's awesome to see, just being able to speak to some legends from Games Workshop history. There was a game that recreated a diorama that was included in Warhammer Fantasy Battles 3rd edition rulebook, almost exactly. It was stunning to see. Absolutely incredible. The dedication to this table, it was just amazing. I got the chance to play some 2nd edition 40k on just one of the most stunning boards. It really reminded me, and a lot of the actual event reminded me of the best tables you used to see at Games Days in the 90s. Just clearly lavished with love and affection, just making the best possible version of the game itself, because you're just playing on these beautiful places, these beautiful boards. And I was able to play that with my old friend Chris from Ontos Games, and a huge shout out to the guys who built that table and GM'd that game. I've forgotten all of the rules, so it was very helpful to have someone who genuinely knew what they were doing and made it into a really fun adventure. There were cacti the spores could turn orcs into other mad cacti running around, and I was playing as Space Marines trying to defend a bomb that was going to go off and destroy the orc encampment. It was a really fun ticking clock, a game that was it was brilliant. I enjoyed it a great deal. Really fantastic. A Garage Hobbit and A Country for Old Orcs on Instagram, both awesome chaps. Fantastic work. Really, really enjoyed it. There was a free miniature as well, which was super cool. And that was a recreation of, I think, a vampire from early 40k. I need to double check and just really check that out and see it, but totally awesome. I also, from the Foundry as well, I bought a time-warped wizard, which is actually an unreleased Citadel miniature. So this is an Empire wizard that never went into production, I believe. And I think that this is very cool, going to be part of my Marienburg army when I get back into that project properly later this year. So I was really pleased to get hold of this. Absolutely awesome. And there's just so much cool stuff. Honestly, the Foundry, amazing. Bring Out Your Lead, amazing. Just seeing so much love for miniatures games and getting to partake in that and getting to talk about that. So many other amazing attendees. Anybody who was there who came over and said hello and had a chat, thank you so much, because that was awesome. I just had a terrific, terrific time. And then the second event that I got to attend, so Bring Out Your Lead was on the Saturday. The actual Bring Out Your Lead event runs on the Friday, the Saturday, and the Sunday, so you can go and have a long weekend of incredible games, lots of opportunity to play loads of stuff. I only attended the Saturday because I went down for that and stayed over, and then on the Sunday, I went to PeachCon 2025. So this is the now annual convention that is being run by Peachy of Peachy Tips fame. A lovely, incredible guy, so wholesome, so awesome, so welcoming. He invited me down to PeachCon. I went to the first PeachCon last year, which took place in a school, almost like a school classroom. It was a really lovely community event. Had a lot of fun at that event. Was not expecting to step into this event and to just see the scale of the operation. Absolutely incredible. They have really stepped it up. Huge kudos to Peachy and to his team for putting together this amazing, like genuine, legit con that had so many awesome people there and so much fun. It was so impressive. I had a fantastic time there as well because there was so much stuff to do and so many cool people to talk to. So as well as there being this kind of a real effort to bring in some fun content creators, so Louise Sugden from Rogue Hobbies was there, Pete the Wargamer was there, there was the Remembrancer was there briefly. There was just a really fun opportunity to just chat to folks. And again, anybody who came over and said hello, anybody who had a chat with me, anybody who I pestered and went over and chatted to, thank you so much, because it was just a wonderful opportunity to spend a day talking about just fun, cool stuff. So many cool games there. So many cool vendors. There was like this actual sort of pit, almost like a gladiatorial arena, but you step down into the pit. I think it's the school canteen. And that was just full of amazing vendors. There was a huge stall from Warlord. Chris Hanley was there with a load of War Machine stuff. The Tabletop Smithy was there. The Warp Miniatures had a load of their Arcworld stuff that looks gorgeous. Fenris Games, Bad Squiddo Minis. Loads of really, really cool companies doing lots of cool stuff. Amazing things to see. Just really fun. And then there were loads of demo games as well. You could play a lot of fun stuff. I got to play Volley Brawl very briefly, which I absolutely loved. Really, really cool. Just it's like a violent volleyball game with a live haggis as the ball. So that was really cool. And there was just loads of just fun stuff to do and to chat to. I got to spend a great bit of time talking to Dave Walker from MS Paints. We had a cool chat. There was just so much awesome stuff to see. And just like I say, I cannot believe the scale that Peachy has been able to, in just 2 years, the scale of the convention. I can only imagine where it's going to go in the future because it was so awesome. Whilst I was there, I was gifted a few things that I did just want to call out because I'm really excited. So a lovely chap called Tofty has gifted me this sort of tool to make it easier to grip your paintbrush. So I'm quite excited to give this a proper look. Basically, it's sort of it's loads of really cool components that I need to really get to grips with and try and understand. But essentially, it as you can see here, so it creates. Let me get that out of the way. It creates a thicker sort of grip for when you're painting. So because I'm not a great painter, just having a bit more control potentially is really cool. He thought this might help me, so I'm very excited to give that a go when I get painting some more of my Marienburgers. So that's really very cool. So thank you to Tofty for giving me that. The very generous Paul Hicks from Footsore Miniatures gave me a couple of his Halfling Cultists and Halfling Witch Hunters, which I'm very tempted to turn into a bit of a little skirmish game, just Halfling Witch Hunters versus Halfling Cultists. I feel like that could be really fun. But these miniatures are gorgeous. Paul is such a great sculptor, and he had a whole range. He's done a whole new range of halflings. Some really, really awesome miniatures. If I weren't sort of limiting myself with my Marienburg Force to doing more specifically Citadel historical, like miniatures from Citadel's history, I absolutely would have a unit of Paul Hicks's halfling sort of Marienburg style troops. They just look really brilliant. They've got all the sort of amazing uniforms and very, very cool. So really impressed by those. And thank you so much, Paul, for giving me those. I need to take a moment to thank the amazing, just unbelievably generous James from Broken Lance Hobbies on Instagram. He came to the event with a huge bucket of classic miniatures, loads of old stuff, a copy of 4th edition Warhammer Fantasy Battles in its box, and he was just happy for people who wanted to continue to enjoy these amazing miniatures to take them away free of charge. So generous, so nice. I was so tempted to take the entire box off his hands, but instead I restrained myself, and I took a box of High Elves, classic 4th edition High Elves, and some amazing plastics from around the 4th edition, because I'm going to use these as part of a Warhammer Quest project. These are the original miniatures that came with Warhammer Quest, so I've taken a few of those off of James's hands, and a load of amazing flyers and mail order catalogues. It would have been so tempting to take everything, but I didn't want to be so selfish, even though I could have. But James, thank you so much, mate. An incredibly generous offer, and just awesome stuff. And then I have to do a huge shout out of thanks to Keybacker from the YouTube channel From Dungeons to Starships, who does really cool kit bashing stuff and is looking at the hobby as therapy and some other really fun stuff on his channel. He has created for me a little unit of 5 sort of dedicated, really super characterful Marion Burgers. It's essentially a kit bash that he's done using lots of different parts of Empire kits that he had available. And they are just so characterful. I'm going to take a photo so that you can see these guys up close, but are so generous and really, really lovely. Like I say, super characterful. I think these guys all look absolutely awesome. So I'm really excited to get these guys in the army as well, as just a set of specific mercenaries, I think, as like a real unit of elite guys, because they look amazing. I'm really impressed. So, yes, thank you very much for those, mate. I really am very, very, very grateful. Just really awesome. Folks are just super nice. I had so many amazing conversations over the course of the event. I actually ran a live Quiz Hammer session as well. That was really, really fun. Thank you to everybody who took part in that. I'm not sure if the questions were fair, but I think folks by the end of it had a good amount of fun. I hope. So that was really cool. I would love to do that again and sort of make that into a regular feature. It was just great. And I think the thing about... Oh, and I also got one of the amazing Officer Peach minis that Peachy has had made, which is just... It's so cool. It's so cool. I'm just really impressed. But yeah, these 2 events, what they have in common, besides being, they're basically on either side of Nottingham. So Bring Out Your Lead is in Newark, which, is not very far. It's a 10-minute train journey or 20 minutes in a car out of one side of Nottingham. And then PeachCon took place in a town called Spondon in Derby, which again is just the other direction, the same kind of distance. Besides being geographically close, they are just both events that were really just driven by passion and by community. And that I absolutely loved it. Now, don't get me wrong, I have had an amazing time going to UK Games Expo this year, and then the last year or 2 going to some other big conventions, so other big events. They're amazing, and it's awesome to see so many people in one place that love the same stuff. But these 2 events were just, they were kind of the perfect distillation of everything. So, in summary, I had a fantastic time at both of these awesome events. I would highly recommend both in the future. I'm definitely going to try and attend them in the future if I can. It's really awesome. It's so great to spend time just meeting folks who love the hobby as much as I do, who want to talk about this stuff, want to spend time playing the games, talking about the games, just looking at beautiful miniatures, and just hanging out and having fun. There's a amazing painting competition at both events as well. I think the Bring Out Your Lead one is unofficial, but is held every year. So there's just like really cool stuff. Great excuse to just put together an amazing game or some amazing miniatures, or even just, go empty-handed and just spend some time having fun. Really great. So I'll be looking out online for information about Bring Out Your Lead and PeachCon 2026, because I can't wait to go and attend them both again in the future, because they're just that much fun. Terrific stuff, and thank you for having me at both events, and for everybody who I spoke to for being patient with me and chatting with me and just making them such a fun time. So there you go. That was my amazing adventure in and around Nottingham, just going to some community events that were just really cool, really awesome. That's it. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching. I'm Jordan, and this is Jordan Sorcery.